federation, and to give you, my people, the Africans of this country, your own government and independence, have come back home to act as a bridge, to bridge the gulf, G-U-L-F, of disunity between the races.
Kamuzu Banda, who was he? What did he do? How did his leadership in Malawi begin? And anyway, let's get into it. I will tell you more about who Kamuzu Banda was. Stick around with me for Malawian history and African history. So, Kamuzu Banda was born on May 14th, 1898. It is believed he was born on that day. However, he and other sources believe he was born in 1906 because Kamuzu Banda was very confidential about his age, so he never really gave out the year that he was born either. But he told people that he was born in 1906, and I'm assuming that is the information that other dates would tell you, that he was born on May 14th, 1906, while other dates would tell you he was born on May 14th, 1898. So he was born just 2 years before getting into a new century, or before the beginning of the new century. Kamuzu Banda was born near Kasungu. Again, other sources say he was born in Kasungu. Again, between the year 1898 or between 1906. His parent was a farmer. And I say his parent because he barely spoke about his father. From how it is said he spoke about his father, it seemed his father was absent and was not really in the picture, and had always told people that it's his mother who raised him. The name Kamuzu means a little root, of which his mom named him after she had struggled with barrenness for a long time, and she took a root that is believed to have been medicinal, therefore bringing Kamuzu Banda or Kamuzu into the world. When Kamuzu was younger, he had witnessed a medical procedure that motivated him to one day study medicine, and he stuck by that until later in the years to come. Kamuzu attended a missionary school throughout his primary school, and in 1915 he set off for South Africa because of lack of opportunities in Malawi. And upon his arrival in South Africa, he worked, and he also joined the Church of Scotland. While there, he gave himself the name Hastings, that was inspired by a Scottish missionary by the name of John Hastings, who he really and greatly admired and appreciated. It is also said that Kamuzu joined the African Methodist Episcopal Church, and while he joined this church, Bishop Vernon had sponsored for his trip to America in order to further in his studies. In 1931, Banda got his degree in philosophy with a double major in history and politics at the University of Chicago. And then in 1932, he enrolled into the Meharry College of Nashville in Tennessee. However, during that time, he also faced a lot of challenges due to racism, specifically in that state where racism was very aggressive and it was just much more seen than it was in other states. Well, other states also had racism, but then there were specific states where it was too extreme compared to other states. However, he enrolled into the University of Edinburgh, where he completed his studies in medicine and continued to practice medicine in London from 1941 to about 1953. Around 1953-54, Kamuzu Banda left the UK, not because he wanted to, but it is said that he was fleeing from a situation that had happened in the UK, where it is allegedly said that he got his receptionist from the hospital he was working at or practicing at pregnant, and he did not want to be involved in this. However, the receptionist ended up following him to Ghana. However, it is also said that these two I'm not sure if it was the woman or if it was Kamuzu, but if it was Kamuzu, it is said that he denied the pregnancy, and after the child was born, he did not support this child in any way after the birth, and I'm assuming also did not keep contact with this child. During Kamuzu's time in the UK and in Ghana, a lot of Malawians had been requesting and had been pleading for Kamuzu to come back home in order to bring freedom to them and their nation. This is because the whites wanted to establish the Southern Rhodesia and Nyasaland Federation. And a lot of blacks, specifically Malawians, were not really supporting this idea of having so much white dominance and power over them that they did not want to be a part of this federation, and therefore they felt Kamuzu Banda would be the right person to lead them out of this situation and bring freedom to them and their nation. After 43 years since he last left home, Kamuzu Banda finally returned in order to fight for freedom. Well, not exactly fight for freedom, but to fight for freedom for Malawi and to end colonial rule. Now, when he arrived in Malawi, he toured different areas, giving anti-federation speeches. As a result, this ended up in a lot of violence. On the 3rd of March 1959, a state of emergency was called. This was because of the violent acts that were happening due to the freedom fighting that Kamuzu was involved in order to bring about independence to Malawi. And as a result, Kamuzu got arrested and was only released the following year in 1960 on the 1st of April. In the same year, 1960, and after he had been released, Kamuzu began to accept British constitutional proposals that explained that Africans would be granted, the Africans in Nyasaland at the time would be granted majority of the Legislative Council. And in 1961, in August, Banda's party won the elections, where he thereafter became the Prime Minister of Malawi from 1961 to 1963. And finally, when Malawi gained independence in 1964, he became Malawi's president from 1964 to 1994 or 1995 thereabout, and he died on 25th November 1997 at the age of 99. And he passed away in Joburg, South Africa. And that is just a summary of the history of Kamuzu Banda. I will continue sharing more, and I hope you stay tuned for more Malawian history and African history.
Do you think I have time to waste here? My people want me home. Do you understand me? Right now, they want me back home in Nyasaland. Much more important things to do than listen to trash like